Alright guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see, the place isn't looking too cracking right now because we are prepping to move. As I told you in the last video.
Oh, little man, you okay? You looking forward to moving? Oh.
Anyway, as I told you in the last video, me and the wife are moving house. We are getting a apartment until our new house is built. That'll be somewhere in April. So sadly, this room is no longer going to be ours. So today we're going to move some things around and hopefully make it a little bit easier to move all these fish and move all these tanks into the new apartment. I'll only be taking 4 tanks to the new apartment. The 125 will be staying at my in-laws completely empty. So I'll be taking 155, another 55 that you're gonna see today that we're working on to create like a double stack. I'll then be keeping the 40-gallon breeder where my blue neons are, and then I'll be keeping the 10-gallon upstairs, but that's it. I've already started selling some fish to prep for it basically. So today we're just gonna move some stuff around and hopefully get it to a point where it's gonna be easier to move, because I've got to basically prepare for that, because a lot of this stuff has to be moved within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So let's get stuck in. Alright guys, so firstly, we are going to have to tear this tank down, but the dwarf aquarium lily right now is looking absolutely awesome. I love the lily pads. It's thrown out about 5 or 6 in total now that are up there on the surface of the water, which I just think looks, absolutely awesome. So hopefully I will be able to save this plant and it won't melt back too much, but it is going to be tough breaking that tank down for sure. As you can see, this room is looking a little bit different right now. We took the 33-gallon off the top, and that tank's right there on the floor. Today we're going to be taking the fish out of that 55 and putting it in the 33, sorry. And that's going to be basically a holding tank. We're also going to be draining the 55 as I sold the fish to the local fish store. The 40-gallon, nothing's happening today, but we are going to be keeping that. We're going to take this rack off the wall. As you can see, I screwed it into the wall at the top and the bottom. But obviously to do that, we need to drain the tanks, and yeah, it's going to be quite the issue. We're then going to basically take all that higher wood off, and we're just going to make it a double rack instead of a triple rack. So firstly, we're going to empty this 55, and the fish that we didn't sell are currently acclimating into the 40-gallon. In here I've got a blue neon female and the Synodonus catfish, and they'll be fine in there. It'll increase my group of females for the blue neon, and the catfish will be fine in there as well. pHs should be about the same because I've got the same buffering sand in each tank, or a Carib Sea one, obviously not the same colour. But now we're just going to use a pipe to siphon out all the sand. This technique works really well on higher tanks. Because this tank's on the floor, it's not so good, but if you ever need to take substrate out of a tank, I would highly recommend this method. After you've got the sand out, obviously water's going to come out with it, so I just drain mine into a bucket, throw it down the sink. Just be really careful, because sometimes the sand can float. But once you've done that, you're basically left with a bucket full of sand that you can then reuse. So this is something that I've been doing for quite a long time, and this sand is probably going to be used on the 40-gallon instead of the black and white sand. It just looks a little bit more natural, and I personally like it, so that's pretty much why I'm saving it. And afterwards, the 55 is looking pretty clean. All the sand didn't come out. But to be honest, I'm just reusing this tank, so I don't need the sand to be all the way out. Rainbow Shark is currently in quarantine. Heard enough of that word, but yeah, he's currently in quarantine because they were nipping on the angel's fins, which isn't ideal. I did read in line that sometimes that can happen, so we might need to find the rainbow fish a new tank in the new place, but we're going to see. So now all we're going to do is take the water out of this tank, at least 25 gallons of it, put it in the 33. That will then enable us to pull this rack out, take it off the wall, and then take out all these wood pieces, which might take a while because this thing is built like an absolute tank. It's got wood pieces basically casing the entire frame. So yeah, let's crack on. We're going to drain the 55, put the fish in this 33, moved the 55 out already. That was a little bit of a chore. Thankfully I've got that mat, it just nicely slid. So let's get draining and catching fish. Alright guys, so as you can see, the fish are now in the 33 gallon. Seem to be doing relatively good. I've not filled it up all the way. I have put the sponge filters back in here and set them up to the air pump. So there's plenty of oxygenation. Still draining the 55 just through the Python hose. But once this is done, we can then pull it out. So we're nearly done now. That took a lot longer than what it seemed on video. Thank the Lord for video speed up capability, or else that would have been really boring. So anyway, 55 just got pulled out, racks got pulled out, and now we are going to take all this wood off and then cut it down. Hopefully I've got a tool that can do so. As you can see, this thing was built like a, there's a term that we use in England, it's called a brick house. Don't know if you've ever heard that term, but that's how I would describe this. It's basically a tank. Once we did the vast majority of the unscrewing, you can see the frames of this. Hoping that I've got something. I believe it's in here. As you can see, the basement is looking awesome right now. This is just a storage. Where is it? Oh dear. Well, I hope I can, really hope I can find it. I thought it was in here. Well, that's a problem. I've got the charger there, and now I can't remember where it is. Oh, there it is. I must have moved it earlier. Completely forgot. Head's a shed right now. But yeah, I'm gonna try and just cut all the wood with this. 20 minutes later, we're up. Obviously, this isn't the best looking thing, but I was able to cut the wood, thankfully. Doesn't look great right now. We are going to reuse this stand in the new fish room for the new house, but right now I'm just trying to work to get this done. I did screw this stand back into the wall just for the time being. And, oh, Bubs, look at him, what a guy. He's looking really good. Look at his coloration, he must be so chilled out in this tank. Loving it. We're going to get all these fish back in. We'll take the water from the 33, put that in there, then take the fish out. Firstly though, we're going to make sure the stand is level, and it is perfect 4-foot level for a 55. Love that. So we're going to move those fish, and then we'll be able to put the bottom tank in there. The air pump is still going to be set up for the next 2 or 3 days, but I am going to be selling the air pump as well. We just used a basic pump just to throw all the water back in there, still using the same substrate and everything. Then we're going to catch the fish, and then we'll fill up the tank. Really, really, really simple, and hopefully the fish will do fine. I think they will do. So yeah, let's crack on. So as you can see, guys, everything's looking pretty good. As I alluded to, this part doesn't look great, but the fish are certainly looking pretty decent right now. I'm just filling the tank up, and this is basically just a big water change for them, which they're used to anyway, because I usually do about 40-50% on this tank. The bottom looks all right. We're going to be throwing the 55 gallon underneath that. We won't have any fish in there for the next few weeks until we take the fish out of the 125, and they're going to be going in there. The 20 gallon rack is being sold this weekend, so I've got to move some fish around for that as well, although I'll probably use the 33 as a little holding tank, and that 40 gallon is going nowhere until we move. So this is basically how it's looking right now, guys. Not brilliant, and it's not a fun thing for me to do, really. It's a lot of work, and if I'd have known we were going to be moving house so quick, I wouldn't have set up this fish room, but, you know, it's whatever. I guess it gives me a little bit of time down here to work on stuff and see the fish and feed them a little bit more. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Just a lot of moving and stuff like that now. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. I think only 15 or 20% of you are actually subscribed. So if you're watching this video and you're not, please click subscribe, ding that notification bell, and make sure you stay tuned, because we've got a lot of stuff coming up on this channel, and hopefully you'll be here with us all to enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.